Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to the Silent Hill commentary, where the other world is here to stay. Hold me down, it's here to stay. I'm not gonna sing any more corn songs, but that is actually quite true. The other world is indeed permanent this time around. As Harry mentioned beforehand in the previous parts, like right at the end cutscene, yeah, it's not a shift from, reality to nightmare. This time the nightmare is reality, and I mean, if I can say something as we make our way closely towards our next destination, but, well, yeah, provided we're not attacked by rompers in the meantime. Yeah, I happen to quite like how they treat the other world in this game. Later Silent Hill games have a tendency to sort of treat the other world as, well, a bit more of a switch between one world to the other, flagged by specific events during gameplay, which, I mean, this game is technically guilty of too, when we had to kill the float stinger for the sake of, shifting back to the real world, getting to the elementary school, in order to get to the sword, to get to this area to begin with, but yeah, I don't know, the fact that this game seems to treat the other world more as an infection, specifically visually as well as it fades from one to the other, I don't know, it gives the other world a certain sense of potency throughout, whereas I feel, and again, I don't want to lay the blame entirely on Silent Hill 2 for this, but I feel like later games just sort of treated it as, well, let's just call it what it is here, an on and off switch where, beat a boss fight? Okay, you can go back to the normal world now. Oh wait, there's a boss fight coming? Yeah, other world, that sort of thing. I just feel like other games never really got the balance right, and, for as many complaints as Origins gets for the literal light switch otherworld kind of thing, at least that variant of it makes sense, given, who we're going to be encountering shortly, but I will save those thoughts for later.
Sybil!
Harry!
How did you get back here?
I followed the sewer. Were you the one who cut the fence?
Yeah. I'm glad you made it. I was worried about you.
You were worried? Where did you disappear to? Never mind. I want to know what's going on here. What is with this town?
This may sound really off the wall, but listen to me. You've got to believe me. I haven't gone crazy, and I'm not fooling around. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. But now I know I'm not. It's not me. This whole town. It's being invaded by the other world. By a world of someone's nightmarish delusions come to life. Little by little, the invasion is spreading, trying to swallow up everything in darkness. I think I'm finally beginning to understand what that lady was talking about.
Harry, hold on a minute. I don't get it.
Look, I don't understand it all myself. I guess I can't explain it.
Well, what's making this happen?
I don't know that either. But I do know Cheryl is there.
There?
Under whoever created this darkness. Cheryl is somewhere and she needs my help.
Harry, this whole thing's been a major blow to you. You need to rest.
Sybil,
The demon is awakening, spreading those wings.
Dahlia Gillespie.
Was it not as I said? I see it all now. Yes, everything. Hungry for sacrifice, the demon will swallow up the land. I knew this day would come. And what's more, the task is almost finished. There's only 2 left. To seal this town to the abyss, the mark of Samael. When it is completed, all is lost. Even in daytime, darkness will cover the sun. The dead will walk, and martyrs will burn in the fires of hell. Everyone will die.
So what am I supposed to do? I've got to save Cheryl.
It is simple. Stop the demon. The demon taking that child's form. Stop it before your daughter becomes a sacrifice. Before it is too late. Stop it! Stop it!
What do I do?
Go to the lighthouse on the lake. And to the center of the amusement park. Make haste. You are the only hope.
Look, Harry. I really don't get what's going on. But if there's a chance we can save your daughter, I'm in. I'll check out the amusement park. You go to the lighthouse.
Sybil, thanks.
You will need to use it.
Use what?
The flowers. Only with that can you stop it.
What about Sybil?
Damn that evil old crone, but it's okay. Now we have a mission, we know things are going on, and we know that that evil demon bitch Alessa is behind this all. So yes, let's go to the lighthouse and stop Alessa once and for all. Oh, by the way, notice Harry's words right there. Don't need to worry about that right now, implying that you might have to come back here for later to cross the lake using the boat. I wonder what could have been cut around here. Anyway though, yeah, pay attention to Dahlia's words. It all seems a bit too convenient. You know, that silent child Alessa being a demon spreading those wings. She has shown us her powers, and yes indeed, telling us to stop that demon with the flowers. Talking about the mark of Sam I Am. Gives us a very strong direction to go in, but it's a bit too convenient. Oh, well, not that we really have time to worry about all that with, you know, the night flutters and rompers jumping about the land. And if I can correct a mistake I made in the previous part with, in terms of enemy names, yeah, the upgraded dog enemies you face around this stage in the game are called wormheads, not doubleheads. That was Silent Hill 3's name for it. So, yeah, the wormheads, fittingly, are really only there to describe the head of the dogs themselves. You know, worms feasting on the flesh, decaying corpses, that kind of thing. Very basic symbolism, although I do recall reading some... Actually, no, that was to do with the Night Flutters. I believe were Masahiro Ito's favourite monster design from this game, so, you know, interesting. Good for him. But yeah, there's not too much difference in terms of how you take out both the Wormheads or the Night Flutters, really. Again, they're basically just stronger variants of the enemies that just take a bit more punishment and, you know, I think on harder difficulties you actually have to give them 2 Silent Hill stomps. Ooh, how fancy. Yeah, kinda surprised I don't actually upgrade the rompers around this stage in the game, but, you know, not that they really need it at this point, because, they do still dish out quite a bit of damage, and, yeah, as you can no doubt tell with the fact that it is saying something like that I do think I've genuinely improved in commentary over the last 10 years or so, in the sense that I no longer need to pad out these commutes with fucking tertiary Sonic montage songs, because, hey, if I throw in a Sonic, then it's immediately funny, because reference humor. Which was barely acceptable on the cusp of 2014 internet humor when I made it, but... yeah, whatever. Oh, actually, you know what, then again, maybe it will be funny, because, you know, as I've also noticed with a lot of, like, random fucko YouTube videos in the last, you know, 2 or 3 years or so, yeah, short attention span humor seems to be popular, so I guess if nothing else, ADHD-style video editing and short, snappy, meaningless content that doesn't really do anything except please the id will never go out of fashion. So, I really don't know what to tell you, but anyway, let us ascend Fang Rock's lighthouse, and gentlemen, I have good news for you. There's something dangerous and we're all going to die.
Wait! Damn, I was too late.
You know, if I had a channeling stone, I think something might happen here. But yeah, to kind of go off on a bit of another topic, for those of you who played Silent Hill Origins, Yeah, list this as another point about how many problems could have been solved if, well, you know, Alyssa used her communication skills, rather than just silently bopping about without a care in the world. Yeah, just a bit of food for thought and something I'll elaborate on a little bit later. But in the meantime, though, yeah, you don't have to worry about commuting all the way back across all those monsters, you know, to get back to the boat. You do have a bit of a shortcut, which is quite handy, so, yeah. Though it is a bit more harrowing when you have wormheads blocking your only path out of there, but... Anyway, in the meantime, don't waste any ammo and just run away, run away, run away, run away from the scary otherworld, which is frightening and terrifying. And yeah, that's pretty much a commute done. Thank you, Team Silent.
Sybil hasn't come back. That creep's sure to show up at the amusement park pretty soon. Let me be on time.
Oh dear, seems we'll never get to use this boat, but... Again, that is something I still want to bring up, you know. The whole idea of, I could use this later. It is something I'm going to elaborate on as we get through to the sewer section and, you know, talk about a few more relevant topics, because, yeah, to kind of comment on level design as we make our way down to the next little sewer junction, in which we can make our way through to the amusement park, yeah, level design for this part of the game is much more straight-laced once again. Still a couple of places to explore here and there for hidden items and goodies, so again, it doesn't quite hit Silent Hill 3 levels of, oh shit, we desperately had to recut the game from a rail shooter to a traditional Silent Hill game yesterday, but I don't know, it does still pack in a lot of, you know, a lot of interesting spectacles through smaller, condensed moments, which, I don't know, is an aspect of Silent Hill 1's design that I kind of enjoy, really. Silent Hill 2 also has this to some extent as well, but yeah, I feel like the first game just sort of managed its horror aspect a little bit better. Well, then again, Silent Hill 2 had a very different focus compared to the first game, so... who knows, really? Maybe I'm just talking out me bum, me sweet spot, oh, me lovely... Whatever. That's, you know, that's too scatological content to really think about right now. In any case, though, just, jump down into the sewers, and, yeah. That's pretty much it, really. You can't go back to the other areas of town, since, you know, it pretty much blocks you off from doing the Kaufman side quests, if you didn't already complete it at this stage, so, yeah, make sure you should have done that, otherwise, well, you're pretty much buggered into getting the bad endings, dude. Oh dear, we are in trouble, aren't we? Oh, auntie. Rather. Anyways, yeah, to kind of talk about what I was talking about earlier with the whole sort of, you know, specifically with Sybil Bennett, you know, the whole boat of, like, Harry's, oh, I can't use this now. Yeah, I've been trying to do some research into this to see whether or not there was anything to go with this, because I've heard varying rumors and, you know, contrasting reports that state that Sybil was intended to have her own playable scenario. There are a few things that do sort of hint towards that. I mean, the fact that, you know, the game's Resident Evil influence, some of Harry's lines such as, oh, I can't do anything with this now, or I can't take this right now lines, you know, as we saw on the boat, seeming to sort of imply that Sybil might have had a bit more to do, especially considering the fact that, you know, you see cars completely stop running, you know, you have the whole drug subplot that seems like it would have been a bit more related to Sybil than Harry, and, yeah, it's quite curious as to finding out exactly how that would have ended up. Before I continue on, first of all, this is also where we start seeing, you know, some of the mumblers show up again. And they're one playable part in the game if you play the American release. But anyway, back to Sybil. Yeah, it's likely that maybe some of this was adapted in the Silent Hill play novel for the Game Boy Advance released in 2001, but... Yeah, I mean, if the case was that Sybil was meant to have a playable chapter or scenario to herself... I guess maybe it was taken out to avoid unfavorable comparisons to Resident Evil, since those games usually tend to also have, you know, two playable characters that you could play with in a specific scenario, but... Yeah, I don't know really, it's, I don't know whether it's true or false. I'm gonna say false, because I haven't really seen any sort of development stuff that would indicate that she was in the game. But there is something, and I'm gonna talk about this in the bonus video specifically, is that... yeah, there are some things that might have indicated that Sybil was intended to be playable at an earlier point, but... yeah, who knows, really. Silent Hill 1 development history is also quite interesting in the sense that, you know, there's not really much about earlier stages of the game. Don't worry, Harry. Sybil will be safe. No! By the way, I also really enjoy the music track in this part of the sewers. It's, quite creepy. And, here we also enter the Lakeside Amusement Park, where you get your Silent Hill 3 reference as you enter the ice cream stand where you can leave a note for Heather. But yeah, apart from that, the only real thing you really get to see around here is, the last appearance of, some larval stalkers. I believe 1 or 2 mumblers also show up around the place, but, yeah, apart from that, not really too much else. All that aside though, I mean, you do get to see, like, a few rides and whatnot, but, yeah, just a bit of visual spice in small bursts, really. But I don't know, it is quite fun to see this area. And all the rides and the fun of the fair. And to kind of talk about that sewer segment earlier on just a little bit more. Yeah, it might not have looked too different from the other section beforehand that took place in the normal world, but yeah, I mean, there were actually a few occultic symbols and stuff in there, you know, indicating that the cult has quite literally gone underground, and Silent Hill 3 would teach us, well, we're not too far off from, you know, where one of the cult's churches was, and unless that was built in the 17 years, between games, but I'm gonna hazard a guess and say that was, well, kind of always there as one of the cult's underground facilities, in which case, yeah, go to the giant merry-go-round and we find a giant lift. Which would have been funny to have seen it descend and Harry arrive in the church and completely fuck up Dahlia's plans. Or I guess maybe run into some cult members earlier on. I don't know, early bird cameo of Vincent and Claudia perhaps? Who knows? But in the meantime though, yeah, let's get our ticket for the merry-go-round and see if we can enjoy our last contact with an old friend, my dears. Oh yeah. Oh dear, yeah. It's gonna be quite dangerous, but anyway, Sybil has now been possessed by one of the parasites that were infecting the nurses and doctors in Alchemilla Hospital. This battle basically works in a, well, pretty much an early bird function of, well, you know, the Dark Lesser boss fight from, you know, Silent Hill 3. But yeah, Sybil's movements are very, well, for those who've played Forbidden Siren, very Shibito-esque. I mean, again, she doesn't move very quickly, but she does have a lot of attacks that can quite significantly damage Harry. Again, she'll pretty much fire off her gun. When she eventually loses that by running out of ammo, that's usually when she starts to mix up her strategies and eventually start to, you know, choking Harry or giving him a bit of a bitch slap. But yeah, since Sybil plus gun equals out, she does do a lot of significant damage with her pistol compared to yours, so yeah, I guess Sybil's earlier pistol was one of her lesser weapons while she got to play with the big guns. Which, I mean, I suppose in another sense might also imply that Sybil might have had a more powerful gun, like how Resident Evil usually has, you know, Berettas, Magnums, and, that kind of thing. I don't know. I guess nothing I can really say for certain. But all that aside, though, like, I mean, despite her attack patterns being very sluggish and a tad predictable, Sybil makes up for that in her power, so, yeah, now, given the fact that you don't really have a lot of room for cover, you pretty much just sort of have to give her a bit of the runaround just to ring around the rosies, pocket full of posies, a tissue, Black Plague metaphor. But, yeah, she will wait for you. She'll either sit in the wheelchair, just wander around the arena for you, or sit in, you know, a hobby horse. Whee! But, yeah, in the meantime, though, not really too much else to say, really. I mean, I did also bring up the whole Shibito comparison with, you know, everything beforehand, but yeah, I don't know, I guess this might have been another earlier test for what Forbidden Siren would eventually go through, or maybe just an early germination of the idea, because, to talk about the parasite specifically, which is what's attached to Sybil's back at this current stage, yeah, Silent Hill being under the control of parasites, I always felt was a bit of an underutilized concept in Silent Hill. I think it's symbolically meant to be a metaphor for the whole, you know, PTV drug trade that's going on around town, and how under everybody's thumb, you know, they are with the cult, but, I do wonder if maybe perhaps the parasites were meant to be a link between, you know, the townsfolk and God, since, you know, the PTV itself was meant to heighten spiritual communication with God, so I don't know, I feel like it could have been a really cool means of delving more into the occultic influence of Silent Hill as opposed to, you know, oh, it was all in his head, he dreamed it all up, and then he died, and then he abused his wife and killed them, and then got really sad and blurg. That the Silent Hill series eventually took after. I don't know, I feel like I could have easily melded together the whole psychological horror aspects with, you know, you know, the sort of hive-minded cult aspects, really, but then again, who knows, really. And this is also where the music starts up, and where you start to see the boss fight enter its final phase. Now, there are two means in which you can, well, you know, use to defeat Sybil, provided that she isn't wringing Harry's neck like the Homer Simpson on the Bart Simpson. Yeah, you can either shoot her down and use all your weapons to sort of take her out, you know, very efficiently, but there is another way, and it involves collecting the red liquid that you found in the Alchemilla Hospital normal world with that plastic bottle that you would have found in the kitchen. But you would have had to have gotten that in order to collect the red liquid, which would also give you an implication as to, well, that red liquid that Kaufman had hidden in the gas tank of his motorcycle. So, yeah. We're not going to be getting a very good ending, and you do also miss out on a very crucial bit of exposition, and I'm pretty much just going to explain it here while we still have a bit of time. About Cheryl, Harry explains that she's not his biological daughter, but regardless of anything else, he found her at the side of the road with his wife, and no matter what happens, come hell or high water, despite not being his biological daughter, Harry Mason is going to save her no matter what. What a true father, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll leave you on that. Catch you later.
I figured you'd show. Hold it right there. I don't know who you are or what you're trying to do, and I don't care. Just one thing. Let Cheryl go. That's all I ask. What? What is this? Where's Cheryl? Give me back my daughter.
We meet at last, Alessa.
Dahlia Gillespie? Where's Cheryl? Where is she?
Alessa. This is the end of your little game. Mama?
Could she be...
You've been a ghastly little pest, haven't you, Alessa? I was careless, thinking you couldn't escape from our spell. But Mommy didn't know how much you'd grown. That's why I couldn't catch you all by myself. But what a pity, yes? Now you're half indebted to this man for his help.
Hey, what are you talking about?
Alessi, my dear little girl, there is one thing left I need you to do for me.
No! Get away from me!
Bad girl. Everything is ready. Let's go home.
What's going on here?